This is a tale of one lone monitor that battled against 5 and was rendered victorious. Some of the warriors on this battlefield were newer, some were more expensive, some were older, some were bigger, and some were even from the same bloodline. But none of these 5 were able to best the one. And here's why. The Kali IN-8 V2 has insane bass, with a 203.2mm woofer and the best phantom center imaging I've ever heard. It's also highly detailed and highly technical throughout the entire frequency range, a true studio monitor. But the treble is fairly harsh and fatiguing, and this much bass was too much for my quaint 4.57 by 4.57 meter flat. Kali makes seriously impressive speakers, and I wish the Sierra-1 had Kali's imaging ability. Tonality was good, but just too harsh. The Philharmonic BMR Monitor V2 actually looks even better than the Sierra, but sadly definitely does not sound as good. The bass woofer is either weak by design or implemented to be rather light and thin in the bass department. This speaker has the weakest bass of all speakers in this video, and it is a foretelling note as to how the C6B sounds, as they indeed appear to share the same bass driver. For sound staging and imaging, I was definitely disappointed, as these also had the worst staging and imaging of all speakers here. What's the good news? They do have a fairly good tonality and did reproduce string sounds well. Though the special detail and air you would expect from a ribbon tweeter was not to be found. The Ascend Acoustics Sierra-LX sounded the closest to the Sierra-1. It's basically a Sierra-1 with a bass boost and a general, small loss of technical ability and clarity across the frequency spectrum. I believe this was a failed attempt to take the Sierra and make it better, along with making it more expensive, too, of course. Ascend has seemingly tried to build upon this speaker further and further, though I don't think the Sierra has yet been outdone in its class by Ascend or others. The Ascend Acoustics Sierra-2EX V2 is a refreshing adjustment from the LX, where the excessive bass bloat has been shaved down and more detail is present. From memory, the 2EX bass was shy of the Sierra-1, but stronger than the BMR. It was a nice, promising balance that could have been great. Sadly, the bass was not quite strong enough to be satisfying, and once again, the ribbon tweeters did not offer any extra magical detail, staging, or imaging that I had hoped for. Failed attempt number 2 at creating a better Sierra-1, which should be relatively easy to achieve by adding a waveguide for the tweeter to improve the staging and imaging, or by implementing a coaxial driver for the mids and highs, like Kali implements. And now for our final warrior in this tale of 5 defeats, the Ascilab or Ascilab C6B with passive radiator. Tonally, the C6B sounds a bit thinner and more plasticky than the Sierra, causing it to sound generally more artificial. The C6B is also a little fatiguing, with slightly more treble energy than bass, whereas the Sierra sounds perfectly balanced across all frequencies. As expected, the upper treble is muted to an extent, but more so than I expected. Bass is clean, but not as punchy or meaty as Sierra's, reminding me right away of the light bass from the BMR's driver. At near to midfield, soundstage depth seem a little better than Sierra, but there's not much difference with phantom center imaging ability, where the Cali excels. I was also disappointed with how cheap the matte finish cabinet was, being some sort of rough plastic that shows fingerprints extremely well, and is also a difficult surface texture to clean. I had high hopes that the C6B would be as good as the Sierra and solve its only weakness of standard-level imaging, but even the imaging from this speaker did not impress me anywhere near the Cali. The end.